Pierce? Where you going? I can't keep up with you in this darkness.
Are you scared? I want to see how far these steps go.
Good God. What have you got me into?
Assuming me is the next sacrifice. Yep, that's exactly what it is.
You don't want to leave?
No! Have you seen the storm that's brewing?
What carnage?
No! Sanders! What the hell?
Talk to Sanders' widow. Can I just, like, leave? I can. Chapter 6. Sanders' residence. Pierce, Colden, and Bradley decided to team up to solve the Sarah Hawkins case. They have a new trail to follow. Francis Sanders, an art collector and friend of the painter who died right in front of Pierce. The detective goes to a house in order to speak to his widow about the Shambler that the unfortunate man mentioned before he died.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders? I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here. You know each other.
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins and her paintings. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed to see him since he was interned. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had this attack? What happened?
Yeah, you must not feel guilty. Or I was no longer there when it happened. You must not feel guilty.
What happened to your husband is terrible, Mrs. Sanders. But from what I saw, it was inevitable. The man I met yesterday had lost his reason. He suffers no longer, if you would allow me such a platitude.
Of course. Thank you for your kind words. Nobody in that hospital would have deigned to speak them to me. However, it will require more than that to soothe my mind. I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
wasn't me who sent him there. The true culprit is Fuller, where I share your grief. I had nothing to do with it. I said the true culprit is Fuller.
So ask Fuller, he's the eminent doctor. But I would caution you, you'll find his treatments more terrifying than the illnesses he sets out to cure.
That churl no longer takes the trouble to receive me. He sends his secretary to tell me that I cannot see Francis. Me. His own widow. He must think that I am a terrible wife for having abandoned him in such a way. But I only wanted what was best for him.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce. I would be grateful if you could tell me what you expect of me, and then leave.
Did he speak to you of a shambler?
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can imagine that's all he talked about. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The Shambler is a painting by Sarah Hawkins.
Who else to paint such horrors? Take a look for yourself, if you feel so inclined.
It is my only lead at this stage. I suppose I have nothing to lose.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again. But if you are so eager to see it, I would urge you to make the most of your visit. Because I count on ridding myself of that thing as soon as I can.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long.
Alright then. Now I'm gonna snoop around your house.
Did she really care for him after all?
Dear Madam, I acknowledge receipt of the letter in which you demand the body of your deceased husband. I am sorry to inform you that I cannot agree to return his body to you. At the moment of his internment, you signed a discharge allowing me to dispose of his body as I see fit. I extend my deepest condolences to you. Thomas Fuller. That's kind of messed up.
The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives.
Interesting. Alright, I figured it'd make a song, but I guess not. Okay, it really wants me to do some reconstruction, so we're gonna do that.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even?
Well, that would make sense.
A house of artists.
A book.
Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the Shambler. Finally. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting?
Interesting.
He finally won. Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom?
I mean, kind of weird if she knew.
She didn't want Sanders to have the painting. She must have felt devastated.
Why did she paint it?
Was she jealous of Sarah Hawkins?
Probably a little.
Ah!
My eyes.
The Shambler. I need to see it.
Yeah, because that's the painting that made him gouge his eyes out. This second volume in the series covers everything from gas gangrene to trench nephritis. I'm probably pronouncing those wrong. In addition to a precise and detailed study, the book presents some avant-garde theories. The incredible complexity of this book reserves it for medical experts.
Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Just gonna snoop around your home. Don't mind me. Who are you? Sure. I'll be in here.
A strange Amerindian pendant.
More
I
sleeping
could
pills.
use one of those.
The Whale and the Cod, A Brief History of Darkwater, by Erwin Greenmouth. It is focused on the past glory of the island.
Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing.
Dear Francis, I beg you to give up all hope of ever owning this accursed painting. If our friendship has any meaning for you, please spare me the weight of guilt. I cannot be the architect of your fall. I beg you, my dear friend, forget the Shambler. Your friend, Sarah Hawkins. She really didn't want him to have it.
Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
This volume spends some time on the Reverend Wickwood's community. His wife expresses her worries about the strange dreams that the Reverend's congregation are having since their arrival on the island. Some members of the community, her husband included, began to speak of their vision as a messenger sent by God. She is scared they will suffer the same fate as the lost tribe. New key to the Sanders Gallery.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more fatal than others. What have you come looking for in this gallery?
I'm not here to create problems for you.
I'm not here to cause trouble, if that's what's worrying you.
Worry me? Don't overestimate yourself. If the last beating wasn't enough for you, I can always give it another go. But as long as you keep out of my way, you're free to carry on with your visit.
Very well.
All's fair in love and war, I suppose.
Would you read the book? I don't know what book it is. It is a kind of encyclopedia of monstrous and unknown creatures. I'm beginning to believe that they exist. Ah! I probably shouldn't have read it. It is a work of a student in book form. Although the observations are relevant, they lack the expertise of an experienced physician. However, the questions asked allow us to imagine new ways of exploring human anatomy. Use a key so you can find that Shambler painting. Which I believe is that one right there. God damn. He sure was an art collector.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times.
What in the world are you? Well, that's the Shambler down there.
The man transformed an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery.
This one looks pretty cool. Oh, why is there the ability to hide in here? Something bad's gonna happen after I look at that painting.
Why was he so interested in old weapons?
Oh, that's so creepy. Another, like, Cthulhu lion. Okay. That's the Shambler, huh?
Is this dagger part of Sanders' collection, or was he seeking to acquire it?
Far from possessing the talents of Sarah Hawkins, Sanders drew a dagger with tortured form down to the smallest detail. The guard carries a strange, esoteric symbol, a recurring feature of his correspondence with Sarah. Yeah, here we go. Something coming out of the painting? Oh my god, what is that? Oh, that's disgusting.
What the hell was that?
I don't know, dude. Oh, it's still out here. Oh, well. Oh, no. Okay. Yeah, I think he's coming after me. Listen, we saw what the last experience of me using stealth and how that went. What the hell? What is that I'm trying to do? Am I trying to leave? Okay.
I can't even touch it.
I'm sorry. The light, I know, you hate it. What? How? Okay.
What the hell was that?
It's the Shambler, man. Oh, he sees me. Oh, he's closer than I thought.
Damn. Maybe
Supposed to, like, stab it? Okay, there he is. Maybe I'm supposed to find the one in the drawing. How do I access my inventory? Okay. I need to look at this picture. Twisty. I think that's a dagger I need to use. Oh man, he's quick. It's not that one. I think it's this one.
Damn. This dagger looks different.
How do I use it? Nope, that's not how you use it. I don't get it. Okay, let's try this again.
What the hell was that?
Okay. So I know which one it is.
Damn. This dagger
Stay away from me.
looks different.
No.
What the hell was that?
The game wants me to hide in a closet.
Damn. This dagger looks different.
Wait. Oh, the painting, maybe. I didn't even think of that. Hey, don't drag me in there with you. Oh, I've got the plague.
What's the matter with you? You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you before I do.
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through your forearm. Did I miss something more interesting?
Yeah, I was attacked by a
I was
creature.
attacked by a creature. I pushed it back, I think.
I think so too.
I ran, screamed, broke a pane of glass. You were in the next room and you didn't hear a thing.
If I hadn't heard a thing, I'd still be in the other room. The door was blocked. I got in as soon as I could. I like to look after my goods.
Interesting.
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. I'm talking about the contents of this gallery. And by the way, where do you think you're going with that dagger?
It saved my life. It's an extraordinary dagger.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. He'll tell you all about it. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
I wonder if he's got more stuff.
It's not your style to give me free information like that.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller. I've still got things to settle with Irene.
The painting's fine. Chapter 7. The Nameless Bookstore. The Shambler turned out to be much more than an artwork painted by Sarah Hawkins, as a huge creature came out of the painting to attack Pierce. After a hard fight, the detective managed to send it back to the painting. He later discovered that the dagger he used to repel the creature had been sold to Sanders by a man named Algernon Drake, owner of the Nameless Bookstore. Pierce decides to pay the library a visit.
Where is the bookseller? Freud's The Interpretation of Dreams. It's the work that laid the foundations of psychoanalysis at the beginning of this century.
This practical work, written by Sigmund Freud, for psychologist, describes techniques of the analytical interpretation of dreams. The analysis must follow several rules, especially that of free association, a principle announced by Freud at the end of the 19th century. It treats dreams as a way of revealing buried desires, and I cannot believe that this theory is applicable to my nightmares. It's probably gonna be a bunch of stuff to take
the
to read.
Reverend's wife's diary.
The pastor declared himself to be the prophet. He renounced God and worshipped a strange pagan entity with a monstrous appearance. His wife tried to reason with her husband, but in vain. He was convinced that he must listen to the voice in his head, because it holds the truth. Precise and illustrated with as much detail as the first volume, this book focuses on healing surgeries specific to malformations and motor disorders. Getting a lot of knowledge in here. Even a few years back, it was possible for a single practitioner to know all the medical knowledge of his time. This book, which concludes the series, shows that this is now virtually impossible. About 10 renowned doctors took part in putting this together, this collection. Human anatomy. The least that could be said about this book is that its title is well conceived. The illustrations of human anatomy and dissection methods presented are illustrated in great detail. You have to have a strong heart with a detachment proper to doctors to consult its pages. Guessing very detailed. That's why I could never be a doctor. I guess there's nothing else in here.
What happened here?
Ah, man, I don't know. It just looks normal to me. History of Darkwater. In the 19th century, as the American whaling industry reached its peak in the rest of the world, whales gradually disappeared from the waters surrounding Darkwater. This phenomenon appears even more mysterious because up until then, the region was a favored refuge for cetaceans? Maybe? In 1847, after months of pursuit, Scylla returns to port with a gigantic creature on board. Its crew asserts that the sea monster had eaten all of the disappeared whales. After a night of ferocious combat, the survivors managed to drag the beast onto the whaling ship. Some more oil for the lamp. I think that's everything.
Let's start over. Where did they break in from? Blood. Seems like amateur work.
Perhaps.
To whom does this footprint belong?
He's stepping his own blood or something?
This burglar seems to be rather clumsy.
Is it a burglar, or was he trying to find something in particular?
What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene?
You know, I didn't even notice any of this.
What killed all these animals? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the? Charles Hawkins?
Yeah, I believe it.
What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess?
That's a big book. That's a book that I read.
Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe.
Is it all glitchy?
Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case.
I think that's everything. I don't know. We're gonna be able to get in here?
Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills? What link
seems
did
like
he
it.
find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet?
This key that bears the Elder's sign is the only one able to protect your psyche. It is in the form of the cylindrical medallion hanging at the end of a heavy chain. Hundreds of years ago, the star and the branch whose purpose is to push back the forces of the great old ones were engraved at its center. Everything points to it being Charles Hawkins that tore it from the last owner, an Egyptian antique dealer. and press cuttings that mention the misdemeanor. The date on the robbery coincides with the last of Hawkins' trips. It remains to be seen whether he knows of the true purpose of the artifact. Try to find it. Why so many bugs?
Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe.
The page seems to be hidden here. It is possible to read. If somebody finds these memoirs, there will be no doubt that I am in serious trouble. My last and only hope is that my body and bones are still in this plane of reality, in order that they be recovered and burned. The funeral urn must be given to my dear mother, if she is still of this world. The following message is of capital importance. Whoever reads these lines and demonstrates acuity as sharp as mine can hope to gain access to my most precious possession. It lies within my safe, and the clues to the combination are to be found in 3 cylinders, each hidden where life and study combine in the Greek world. Each cylinder is numbered, even if, as a celebrated author says, order is a pleasure of reason, but disorder is a delight of the imagination. Indeed, despite my preference for organized chaos, I must admit that reason usually prevails in the end. If by chance a person, or should I say a genius, was to match my intellect and find the combination of the safe, I would ask that they deliver its content into the safekeeping of my friend and colleague, Professor Armitage of Miskatonic University. The content of the safe is not only a vast digest of knowledge, but also a weapon that is far too dangerous for it to fall in the wrong hands. I hope that you will be able to appreciate the danger that this represents, and that you will act according. In any event, I will neither be there to guide you nor to suffer from your actions. Okay. Guess let's do some digging around.
Arkham editions. Never heard of him.
A collection of poems by Edward Pickman Derby, also known as the Nightmare Lyrics. This collection of poems was sensationally received when first published in 1908. Derby was only 18 years old. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on esotericism and the supernatural.
How many volumes are there in this collection?
A book of spells supposedly written by the legendary King Solomon. It contains various rituals of invocation and rituals of curse. Re-edition by Claudia D. Waits, based on L.W. de Lawrence's original. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on esotericism and the supernatural.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Opera in 8 Acts by Benvenuto Ceti. Prodigera, an infamous lyrical work published in Italy in 1768. It is said that the opera was performed only once, resulting in an audience riot that left several dead and missing. This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology, a luxurious collection of treatises and works on esotericism and the supernatural.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
Collection of long-term astrological predictions written in verse. Written by Nostradamus, translated by E. Leone and Theophilus Widebridge. Theophilus, probably. That's probably how you
How
pronounce
many
it.
volumes are there in this collection?
An ancient Frisian manuscript translated by William R. Sandbach. The text claims that in the distant past, Europe and other continents were controlled by the mothers of this people, and moreover, that our alphabet is derived from the Frisian language. Frisian? This volume is part of the Arkham Anthology.
Another volume by Arkham Editions.
Collection of essays on American folklore and urban legends. Written by Albert Wilmarth, professor of Miskatonic University. No, apparently I didn't read that. I thought I already did.
Arkham Editions. Never heard of him.
So what is somewhere in there? Is that the code?
Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
Would you read the book? Well, of course.
What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge.
This collection catalogs and classifies the creatures that I had never heard of. Divinities from the stars, creatures capable of traveling from one dimension to another. It presents itself in the references work on the bestiary, the myth, without giving the details on the mythology to which it refers. Its pages are covered with phantasmagorical illustrations. Okay. Inventory. Of 3 cylinders. I have to be able to view them. Drake cylinder 1.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will, dear friend. I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham Editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Volume 9. This top one I don't understand,
and these red
though.
drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
The Queen has little protection.
So, 4, I'm gonna guess. That's the Grail.
Chalice of Knowledge.
Red. 1, 2. This goblet seems to be very ancient. It seems to be made of gold and decorated with real precious stones. The rubies and sapphires make up a specific motif. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 4 and 9. Let's try that. 5, 4, 9. No? Okay, let's go read volume 9.
What did Drake say about this collect? Drake talked about a particular so these are the volumes that Drake was talking. What did Drake say about this collect? Drake talked about a particular so these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
8.
What did Drake say about this collection?
It's 4.
Drake talked about a particular so these are the
9.
volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
First published in 1908, Derby was only 18 years old.
What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in what did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume.
He said volume 9.
So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Maybe 6? I don't know how many things were actually on that chalice. Inventory. Let's go listen to him again. Unless this one's
The Queen
wrong.
has little protection.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
Okay. So then 3. 3. Oh, first 5, 3, and 9. Let's try that. Five, 3, 9. There we go. That's a big book. do? What am I unleashing?